Let's see what kind of room we have in here. Any hands up? Oh man. Okay, well, if you're on this call, that's exactly what we're going to be building out today. No need to feel behind. I'm going to give you all of the resources, some bots as well, to be able to guide you through this process. So take as many notes as possible. I am going to make sure to be mindful of time as well. So over the next 52 minutes, I want you to figure out what takes a lot of people 6 months and a lot of money to do themselves. So if you're manually posting, manually following up with leads, manually or just spending hours trying to figure out what your next offer is going to be, this is going to help you cut down on that time. I'll also tell you something about me. If this is your first masterclass with us, welcome. This is going to be a little bit different than a lot of the AI masterclasses that you might have been on before. And let me tell you why. Because I am not going to just give you a bunch of apps and a bunch of tools and a bunch of subscriptions that you need to sign up for. We are going to stay laser focused. You don't need those 10 apps. You don't need 14 or 15 steps just to be able to get this done. We're going to keep this lean machine so that way you can move quickly without getting overwhelmed. Because that is something that I am seeing is happening to a lot of business owners today. I mean, AI itself is a pretty intimidating topic. It's moving so fast. I mean, what happened or the way it was operating just 30 days ago to the way it is today. Um, you never know. It almost feels impossible to keep up. So, the goal here is to help you identify three things that you can take away with and feel like you're actually progressing in the business. But this is going to require you to stop thinking like what all the gurus are talking to you about. Basically, thinking like a content creator in your business, thinking as the core marketer in your business. I want you to start thinking about building something that's real, that's tangible, where you can actually set goals and measure results. So the first thing that we're going to be going over is the three shifts that actually makes getting clients predictable. Next one is going to be the execution model, basically the system that we're going to set up that can run without you, but it's still going to sound like you. It's still going to have that human touch built into it. And last of all, we're going to go over the exact system my clients use to close deals, whether we're traveling, we're sleeping, we're focused on something else, we're launching this offer, we still have this offer bringing in clients and making us money. So if you're ready to get started, go ahead and put a clapping emoji in the chat. I want to get the chat up. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat as well. Let's see here. I know Carlos, if you're in the chat, he's my business partner. Could you re-enable the chat, please? Not sure what's going on here, but that's okay. So let's start off by testing something. I'm going to show you three statements. And, we'll just do a raise of virtual hands since the chat is being weird with us today. Raise your virtual hands if you believe this is true. If you believe it's false, just do a thumbs down. Number one. Once you hit 10K a month, you need to start building systems. What do you think? Is this true? Is this false? Sarah says thumbs down. Brandon says thumbs up. Okay, okay. Oh, the chat is enabled again. Perfect. So this is actually going to be true. So this isn't just my opinion. It's something that every business owner is going to encounter. Your first 10K is usually you just kind of doing it yourself, figuring it out as you go. Your first 20K is you just got to work twice as hard as what got you to 10K to get to that first 20K, and you feel like you're $1,000,000. But whenever you're getting at 30K a month and beyond, this is where most people break. And this is where we really need to start focusing on building systems. And you can start even if you're just getting started in your business. You're not going to double your revenue just by working the same hours. What we're going to do is we need to add systems so that way, no matter how many clients we're onboarding at one time, your quality of deliverables are never going to drop. You're never going to sacrifice your brand, and you're never going to stop marketing. This is something that I heard, I believe it was Henry Ford says. He says, the foolish man stops advertising in hard times. No matter where you're at in your business, always keep on marketing, no matter how hard it is. And it's so easy these days with social media, with content creation, because it's essentially free marketing. So let's do another true false question. This time we have the chats available. Also, let's see here. So you can create 100 posts in an hour and still have 0 leads by Monday. What do you think? Leave a comment in the chat. True, false, true, false, true, true, true. Some of you may have experienced this before. Um, Unfortunately, true. This is what I'm not a big believer in. You see a lot of AI content creators talking about create your next 100 posts with this one prompt with AI. And yes, that can work. Yes, it's going to get you the result of having that volume of content. However, it's not going to always guarantee the results you're looking for because posting more doesn't equate to making more money, especially if there's no system. If there's no way to take somebody from being a complete stranger on the internet into the ecosystem of them learning about you, learning how to trust you. And this leads to the question of how do we build trust on demand? Let's go into our third question. True or false? Sales calls are for explaining your product and what you do. True, false, true, false. False, false. Perfect. I'm so excited for this group. This is absolutely false. That is not what sales calls are for. And I'll be honest, whenever I was probably in my first 2 years in business, I thought that's what it was for. I would get on hour-long, 90-minute long consulting calls that were supposed to be sales calls with clients. And it turns out the more that you're on a sales call and the more you educate them and consult them, the farther away you're actually pushing them from wanting to work with you. That work should be done through your marketing materials, through the emails that we're setting up. So if you're still explaining what you do on sales calls, your marketing is not doing its job. This is why people who have 30,000 followers versus people who only have, let's say, 300 followers, the 300 follower person could be getting more results than the 30,000 follower person because they understand that marketing is simply educating your audience and getting them ready to purchase your high ticket offer, to purchase your high ticket service. And who is this for? What does this actually mean? This is going to work for any business owner who has a service, who works with clients, who has a coaching and consulting business. This might not be for you if you have low ticket products as your main core offer. The goal here is to increase the lifetime value, the value of your client over time, and creating a system that is going to allow us to do so. So if we take a step back and we now know that sales calls are not for explaining, then what are they for? And now how do we fix our marketing on the front end to get them to where we want them to be? So like everybody, we have, who was it? Valerie said in the chat, sales calls are for one thing and one thing only, closing people who already want what you have. So whenever we think about this, and a tool that I will recommend is fireflies.ai. I'll go ahead and leave this in the chat, fireflies.ai. I have fireflies.ai in all of my sales calls and almost all of the conversations that I'm having. And whenever I think back to the best sales calls I've ever had, they feel easy. They're simple. The people come onto the call already understanding what I do. They believe in it. They know it works. And they are just confirming that it's the right fit. And they're confirming what the next steps of the process is going to be to work with you. And that's what we mean by pre-sold. And when your marketing does that work for you, it becomes the easiest part of your business to get on sales calls. And now you're no longer stressing out about it. You no longer have that anxiety whenever you're getting on a call of, am I going to close this person or is just this going to be a waste of time? Am I going to self-sabotage it because I know subconsciously my marketing hasn't done the work for me and I'm going to have to probably spend more time than I want to. We've taken our sales calls from being over 60 minutes long to now we can close somebody on an average call rate of 15 to 20 minutes, all because our marketing is dialed in. So everything else, education, trust building, objection handling should happen before they book. That's something that you might not have thought of. Objection handling, you can do that in your marketing. That's exactly what content creation is for. Creating a list of all the objections, all the questions your ideal client might have, and answering all those questions in your marketing material. So what is this actually going to do? It's going to take you from where most people are at in business, which is path A. They post content, they get a DM, then they spend the next 3 days explaining what they do, trying to convince everybody to get on a call and hoping that they close that person. Or you're going to install a pre-sold AI funnel system, which is path B. This is where it's different. Your content's built to attract your ideal client. Your system captures their informations. Your emails are intended to educate your audience on who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. So by the time that they book the call, they already know what your offer is, why they need it. So you're not convincing them, you're just confirming and making sure that they have the payment link and you can collect their credit card or their account information here. So path B is where you get away from convincing people that you're the right fit. And path A, and this is where you basically close people. So here's what most people don't realize is that the bottleneck is not your offer. You probably already have a pretty solid offer, especially if you're at least $10,000 a month. The bottleneck is not your offer. It's validated, it's proven. People have raised their hand basically saying that they want it. You probably are pretty good at closing whenever you have somebody on a call who's already educated on your offer. And it's also not your pricing. Now, if you're getting on 10 sales calls and closing 5 of those people, then the market has also validated the pricing of your offer. And it's probably not even your audience. Even if you don't have 100,000 followers, you can still have an engaged audience, and you probably do, even if it's in person or offline, in person or online, then the audience is already engaged with who you are, what you do. And so that's not going to be the core route. You don't need to post more content. You don't need to send out more emails. What we're actually going to do is we're going to take the responsibility off of you of having to do or micromanage everything. So even if you do have a team, how do we rewire our brain and equip ourselves or our team with the right resources? What is the missing piece that they need in order to really take this to the next level? And here's the part that might sting, that you might resonate with, is that every lead that you didn't follow up with because either A, you're too busy, or let's say B, every DM that went cold because you forgot to reply. I've done that a lot of times. You're not losing deals because people aren't interested. You're losing them because you can't keep up with the traction, with the attention that you're getting. And even if people are looking at your content and not DMing you, they might not understand what the clear next step is to get into your ecosystem, to get onto your email list. So we need to build a system that follows up and nurtures, especially when you're busy, especially when you're in the Bahamas. So that way, any person who is interested in you, but you never close a loop, that can now systematically be done for your business. So with the system and the demo we're about to go over now, we're going to take your same offer, everything that you're currently doing, but just repackage it into a system that's going to, take you from writing posts manually to having a content system that can start writing these posts for you based off of your sales calls, based off testing different angles. We're also going to take answering DMs, following up one-on-one, explaining your offer repeatedly, and we're going to streamline this so that way we have a simple process in which this is going to be done on our behalf. So what would change if your leads showed up to calls already educated, already knowing what you do? What would change if they showed up to the call already believing that you can help them and they believe and trust into your story as well? Are they already ready to say yes? So now you go from having those 90-minute sales calls to now cutting it down. So let's get into the meat of this. What do we actually mean by pre-sold? It starts out with content creation. And over the next couple of steps that I'm going to explain, this is going to map out the client journey. So this is what we always need to envision is, if I am my ideal client, what are the steps it's going to take for me to work with Mark, to work with Brandon? How do I get to working in their ecosystem? We want to map it out in their head so there's no gaps in the process. People on social media, people who are looking for, a solution to whatever problem they're having, they want it to be found easy for them. Just like you probably do with your marketing. You want it to come easy. You want it to be set up for you. And that doesn't happen by accident. So Number one is your content attracts your ideal client. Then your system captures their information, captures their emails, their phone numbers. Those emails, we take the emails and we start educating them in their emails through automated sequences. And last of all, we have follow-ups nurturing these people. So the system moves people from who are you to I'm ready to buy your product before they even talk to you. So by the time they book a call, they're ready to go. And so feel free to take a screenshot of this. This is going to be a high level overview of what this system looks like. This is the pre-sold client funnel. Social media drives the traffic. Your lead magnet or landing page captures them. Your emails educate and nurture your audience. And so by the time they see your offer, whether it's on a training, whether you pitch them on a call, they're already pre-sold. And that's the journey that we are building for ideal clients. It can be from any of these platforms onto lead magnet, newsletter, into the conversion event. So now you might be thinking, okay, this sounds great. How does this fit into what I'm already doing? We have some coaches, we have some people in oil and gas here, we have some real estate investors into here as well. We have a wide fit, and this can work for anybody. So you're already posting, you're already getting those DMs. Now let's really just lay everything that we currently have out and start asking the right questions. Next thing you might be thinking is, what if the AI doesn't sound like me? Is this going to be too complicated to set up? Raise your hand if you feel like you might not be the most techie person in the world. Maybe you're not the best on a computer. This can also work for you. You'll just copy and paste some of the prompts and use some of the tools that we have. Let's see, what do we have in the chat? Jamie says me. All right. And what if you don't know how to position your offer the right way? Let's go ahead and get some clarity on what this would actually look like. Because here's what we're really going to dig into today is you already know what to say. You already have a message in you that you want to communicate to your audience, but you might feel like nobody is listening. The only thing that we're missing is something to really launch this. So who's ready for Black Friday? Anybody here take advantage of Black Friday, the holidays, New Year's? Q4, we typically see a 30% increase in sales for businesses that were for us and for businesses that we work with as well. Q4 is a very, very hot time to really take it to the next level with your business because people are practically having their credit cards out, looking to either A, get a tax write-off, B, prepare for 2026, getting ready for the new year because they have goals to set. Maybe they didn't reach their goals over the past 8 to 12 months. Maybe they reached their goals, but they're ready to take it to the next level, and your product is going to be the person that gets there. So let's talk about launching the next one that's happening in 38 days. Black Friday is 38 days away, which is insane, right? Not even close to ready since I don't even have clients yet. Oh man, Shemaya. So let's talk about AI. A big thing that I'm seeing with AI is you ask it a question, you get a response, you take that response, and then you run with it. You don't challenge your AI. You might not be understanding what good, bad versus great looks like. And that's something that no matter what, no matter how far AI gets, is you're always going to need to be able to identify if it's giving you a bad offer. I also did forget Halloween is coming up just 10 days away. So we might be able to take advantage of that as well. So AI without strategy is just going to give you content. It's just going to give you something that might not be the best. And if you don't have the right eye for it, then you might not be able to realize this is actually a really bad response. Nobody's going to really resonate with this. But if we use AI with strategy and we're able to identify what's good and what's bad, that's really what's going to take us to the next level and also allow us to make sure we're getting the bang for our buck. So how do you actually use this to launch a Black Friday or a holiday offer? I'm going to go ahead and walk you through it. We're going to not focus on just random AI output. We're going to focus on just really strategic execution of this. We're about to get into the demo. AI can't build a system if it doesn't know what you're selling or how to talk about it. Okay. This is what I mean by AI cannot do anything without a strategy. That's where humans come into place. AI can help us map out the strategy once we have a goal or an idea in mind, but it's not going to do all of the work for us, at least not in the beginning. So, who here already has maybe a Halloween offer or a Black Friday offer? If you can go ahead and leave it in the chat, you might pick on you and use you as a demo later on. So, whenever we're talking about strategy, before we touch any tools, we have to map out what's called our offer and our messaging. We are not going to start with content creation first. Whenever you start with content first, it gets overwhelming because now you're focusing on what other people want, what you think that they need, without actually doing the research that's going to help us really get to the core messaging that's going to trigger them. Marketing is 90% psychology. And the good thing about AI is we can do a lot of this market research just with a click of a button with one prompt. So that's step zero. Everything is going to be building from here. So think about it as a house with a foundation. In the rooms of the house, this is going to be your funnels, your emails, your offers, everything that makes up your business. But if you have a leaky foundation, a foundation that is built on sand, it's all going to crumble. And the foundation is built off of the offer and messaging. This is where you need to spend, honestly, 80% of your time really refining. And so, what is an offer? What does this actually mean? There's going to be two types of offers that we're focusing on. First is going to be your core offer. This is the main thing that you sell. It's high ticket, high touch, and it has a big transformation. This is where people come to you and they see the biggest results. But it's probably pricier than your other offers. So most people can't just jump straight into that. So you need supporting offers. Supporting offers are a little bit more lower ticket, which means they're not as pricey as your core offer. It's easier to enter into a supporting offer. And the goal of supporting offers is to build trust and move people up to your core offer. So think about if you're running a Black Friday deal, that's a supporting offer. It's designed to help people get into the door that they eventually ascend to the real thing. They eventually ascend to the core offer. So let me show you some examples of what some Black Friday supporting offers would look like. The first one would be a consulting or a strategy session that you're giving away at a lower price or maybe for free. You could also bundle products together. Maybe you have a few courses or resources that you could put together and bundle and give it away for a special cost. You could do an ebook, mini course. You could do a challenge or a workshop if you're better at talking in person. Or you could also do done for you audits and analysis. These are just a few ideas just off the top of our head on how you can get started with a supporting offer. So again, this isn't going to be a main product in your business. This is a supporting offer that's goal is to get people into the door with the goal of getting them to your core offer. It's an easy point of entry. So that's what these offers are designed for. So let me show you an example. So let's imagine that you have a biohacking clinic for business owners. I don't know about you, but business can be stressful, takes a lot of work. You may be working 15, 17 hours a day. It starts to affect your back. Maybe you start feeling a little bit fatigued. And so this example business, a biohacking clinic, has a solution for you. Their core offer is a done for you biohacking program. Maybe they scan your body and they tell you exactly what you need to do to be able to feel better. But that core offer is, let's say, $15,000. How do we get people into the door? A good supporting offer might look like a body analysis report and a personalized optimization plan. So they're only selling the first part of their business, and they can package this up and sell it to business owners to get them into the door. Because once somebody spends like $1 for you, then that's whenever you start building the trust and moving faster into building a relationship with them. But here's one thing. AI can't write the strategic copy for your business unless it knows you, who you are, what you do, how you communicate, what your voice is. And so that's whenever we start building out a marketing clone. So your marketing clone is trained one time. It's trained on you, your story, your voice, your business. It has all the context about how you operate and what your core offer is. And so once it's built, it knows exactly how you talk, what you do, and your core offer, and it can communicate this all on the fly. So your marketing clone is going to be at the center of everything that we're going to do. This is what's going to allow you to be able to write content in your voice. So if you say you all versus y'all, it's going to catch those nuances and be able to communicate on your behalf. But whenever you're launching, let's say a Black Friday offer or supporting offer, you need to give it more context because this isn't already going to be built into this clone. So whenever you're launching this, you want to upload what's called a messaging document. This messaging document is going to be specific to the supporting offer, maybe a lead magnet, your Black Friday promotion, and it's going to know exactly how to communicate this to your audience. So here are some of the things that go into the messaging document. And then from here, we're going to start going into the demo where I'm going to show you the exact prompts we use to start building these out. So let me break down what each of these means. The messaging document is going to be get clear on who you're talking to, what problem you're solving, why they should believe you, and every angle, hook, and objection that you could possibly address within your content, your emails, any of the marketing materials that you're putting out there. So think of angles as different ways to frame the same problem or solution. So if we're talking about biohacking, you might get the audience by saying, get more energy, but you might get a different audience by saying, get better focus or eliminating burnout. So different angles is different ways to approach the same problem. Whenever we're testing different hooks, these are the first opening lines that are going to grab the attention. So the first thing someone sees whenever that's going to stop them from actually scrolling. Objections are the concerns people have, many questions of what is the price? Will this actually work for me? I need to talk to my wife. I need to make this big financial decision. Those are objections. And positioning. Positioning is why this offer matters right now. You could have the same offer and reposition it for each different season of the year, and you can make it sound just as new, just as exciting. So what we did is we created this master prompt. And let me tell you exactly how I use it. So we have our AI brain that understands what our core offer is and knows exactly how I communicate. But whenever I'm launching a new offer, such as my 7 for 7, the 7 for 7 is 7 AI bots that we give away for just $7. That is not a part of my core offer, but it's an entry offer. It's a supporting offer that comes into the door. And so what we do is we take this prompt. It's honestly really long. It gives us an output of around 9 pages. And what this prompt is going to do is it's going to create the entire messaging document for us. So you'll see here, we're going to use this messaging document in the start of almost every conversation we have with AI moving forward. It's going to write our emails. This is what's going to write our landing pages. It's going to write all the copy for everything. This marketing messaging document is basically the #1 file on my computer whenever I'm promoting a new offer here. So now that we have that, earlier we talked about the client journey, which we call the pre-sold client funnel. So you remember you screenshot the picture. It went from social media to a lead magnet to nurturing them with email to generating revenue through some kind of conversion event, such as a training or a sales call. So whenever we think about taking that messaging document, taking our marketing clone, and having an idea for supporting offer, how do we actually get started with building it? It feels a lot like, how do I get started? It seems like a lot to do. What we're actually going to do is we're going to build it backwards. So here's how we're going to build it. And we're going to build one together so you can see just how easy that this can be. So the first thing that we're going to build is the funnel copy. So this is basically the destination on where we're sending people. A lot of times you might think, let's start with content. But if we start with content first, you're guessing, where am I going to send people? What should I promote? What topic should I touch on? This is why we start with the funnel copy first by putting the messaging document into it. Second thing we're building are email sequences. These are going to be what nurture people. How are we moving them towards the sale? The third thing we're building is the actual content calendar. The content calendar is what's driving people back to the funnel. And the last thing is going to be the CRM, which basically connects everything together. So it's running as a smooth system. You spend maybe a couple hours one day building this out, and you can not have to worry about your Black Friday offer because it's already all the work is being done for you. So let's break down each of these components. I'm going to give you a high level overview of what the system looks like, and then we're going to go into the demo. So there are two AI platforms that I use when I'm building these. Raise your hand or put a yes in the chat if you're using ChatGPT right now. How many ChatGPT users do we have? Okay, we have Sarah, Shamaya. Hopefully everybody on here is using ChatGPT. Who here is using Claude? Claude AI. Not that much. Tried it. Yes, just started with Claude sometimes, but I like ChatGPT better. Okay, so we're gonna really get into the weeds here. You might see me nerding out. I love Claude. Claude is everything to me. I use ChatGPT as my marketing clone, and this is where you start getting strategic on how you're using these different models. Okay, I think the top two, in my opinion, are going to be ChatGPT and Claude. I always have mine both up side by side with one another, and let me explain why. I'm going to go back. Feel free to take a screenshot of this before while I nerd out on this a bit. So the difference between ChatGPT and Claude. So ChatGPT is really, really great for high level strategy, high level overview. What Claude is very good at is actually creating and writing the copy in the marketing material. What does copy mean? It's the words that are on the funnels, the words that are in the emails, the words that are creating the content. Okay. A lot of times, whenever I use ChatGPT for content creation, I feel like I have to prompt it 10 different times just to get the messaging that I'm looking for. So I use ChatGPT as my brain. It does all my strategy with it. It's almost like my board of advisors, but I use Claude as my employee to actually execute on the tasks and get my marketing materials done. They both operate in very similar ways. You can both train what's called a custom GPT or a project on each of these. And I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. What this basically means is I can train it on everything about me and my business. And that's exactly what I've done on both platforms. I have it trained to know exactly what I do, my voice. They're both trained on my AI marketing brain. Okay, so let's get a high level overview of these components and then we'll keep on nerding out. Eddie says, let's nerd out. I love it. Okay. So component number one is our funnel copy. If you're not familiar with what a funnel is, this is going to be the pages in which you take somebody through your first page, which is the landing page. The first page is going to collect their email, their phone number, their name. The second page might look like a thank you off or a thank you page with an upsell to book a call. So the funnel are going to be multiple pages connected to one another to guide somebody through a specific journey. Once you go through that, you get a confirmation email. You've definitely done this before. You buy something from an e-commerce website. Maybe you're buying supplements. You go to their website, you type in your information, your credit card information, you go to the thank you page, and then you get an email confirmation, and you know you went through the process smoothly with no problems. So the funnel copy is going to be the first component of this. The interface that you're seeing here is Claude. And let me explain to you what you're actually looking at. So component number two is the email sequences. You'll see we're also using Claude here. Let's take a look at the breakdown of Claude. So in Claude, you can upload your own personalized instructions. You can also upload your own personalized files. Another good thing about Claude is you can upload a significantly more information than ChatGPT. So I can upload as much context as I want into this. I could probably upload 3 Harry Potter books and I would only be at 10% of the project used. It's insane. What's also cool about this is that it organizes your chats. So you can see here, all of my email conversations aren't getting flooded on the side with all the other conversations I'm having. They're staying organized in my email tab here. Okay. I also have one for my content creation. So you'll see the instructions. The files have 3% capacity used, and all of my content conversations are hosted here. So I use this one whenever I am creating any content, whether it's LinkedIn post, carousel post, post on Facebook. This is going to be the core project that I use specifically on Claude. Yeah, Valerie says the biggest pet peeve with ChatGPT, having all of your conversations everywhere, not knowing which one's which, and then just starting a new one, basically starting at zero because you have no context. But anyways, component number 3, content calendar. This writes all of my content. And so this is what that breakdown looks like. And I'll show you an example of this in just a moment. So basically what it allows me to do, what I've trained it to do, is I can take one idea, I can take one messaging document, and I can upload it into Claude, into my AI, and it can now turn one idea into a LinkedIn post, an Instagram post, and an Instagram talking head script. So a video of me talking to my phone, all with a click of a button. Now, this is where the nuance really comes in. I've trained it on the best practices for each platform. So it knows what the format needs to be for a LinkedIn post. The format's different for a carousel post. I need it to be structured differently for a talking head script on Instagram. So instead of it just giving me a bunch of garbage of, post 5 reasons why to do this, it's getting very specific to the formatting for each platform. So now it's very easy for me to pump out content and be everywhere all at once. And so you also will see I have top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. This is how I multiply content like crazy for us and our clients. So top of funnel means we are targeting people who have no idea who I am, and they have no idea I exist, and they have no idea that I have a solution for them. These are complete strangers. We're creating content angles for them. Then we have middle funnel content. These are for people who, have joined one of my master classes before, who are pretty familiar with AI. They've seen my content, and now they're wanting more. We have bottom of funnel content as well. So this is going to be for people who are basically saying, "Hey, Natalie, I'm ready to buy. Just tell me what I need to do next." They're waiting for that one thing to pull the trigger. That's what bottom of funnel content is. So whenever we take one idea and put it into the AI system, it's going to know exactly which audience to target, and it's going to give you content for all of them, not just content ideas. It's going to execute on that for your behalf. So now we have your funnels, your emails, we have your content planned. Let's put everything all together in our CRM. So the CRM that we use is called Go High Level, GHL. This is our holy grail. If Go High Level, decided to shut down, I would be going crazy, right? This is where we do everything. And so this is just a sneak peek of how we've set up, the opportunities tabs here. So what you're seeing here is we are able to see anybody who has opted in, come into our funnel over the past 30 to 45 days at any given time. These are warm and hot leads. These are the people that we want to consistently give education, nurture, give them information. These are people who are almost to the finish line. Okay. So you'll see here we have 693 opportunities, and it's all broken down based on where they are coming from, what offer they opted into. So if they opt into, let's say, a webinar, I know that they like video content. We'll put them down the funnel of seeing more video content there. So the CRM connects everything together. It allows us to see who's engaged with us, who hasn't engaged with us, every touch point, every lead, every conversion. And so Go High Level is going to be where we host and send out all of our emails, all of our funnels, basically everything. It also does automated DMs. So if somebody messages us a keyword, then it's going to send them the link or whatever, right? Maybe that's how you got here today. You commented the keyword spooky and you got the link to register for this call. That is all done through Go High Level. Okay, so who's ready for a demo to see what this actually looks like? We're going to go through the demo of the biohacking. This is a completely fictional company. Figured we kind of explore with this. And I've already done some of the work for us here. So let's pull this up. Please, if you get lost, you're like, whoa, take a step back. We are about to nerd out as a group. So I'm excited. I think we're all ready for this. Okay. So we will start with this. Okay, awesome. So let me go ahead and share this link as well, so you can feel free to follow along with us. You can do this for your offer and you'll be able to walk away from this with basically everything that you need to at least get started with launching your Black Friday offer. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So first thing we have here is our example business. So this is a biohacking clinic for business owners. Again, they're going to help somebody who has low energy, fatigue. They just feel like they can't focus. What's going on at the root? So this company, this theoretical company, is going to help you figure out what the problem is and also find a solution. Their core offer is a done for you biohacking program. So let's just imagine they have a giant clinic and they have a bunch of fancy machines. They're going to scan your body, they're going to do your blood work, and they're going to figure out exactly what's wrong with you and give you holistic medicine on how to fix it. Let's just use our imagination. That's what this is. Now they are coming up with a Black Friday offer. This is going to be a body analysis report and a personalized optimization plan. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do with this is we're going to use this meta prompt that we saw earlier on the presentation. Okay. Let me break down just a high level view of what this meta prompt is going to do. So what this is going to break down, you'll see here. If you open this up on your computer, there's a copy button and you'll be able to copy the entire prompt into here. Okay. So what this does, it's going to give us everything that we need. It's going to figure out what we're selling, who this is for, who this is not for. This is honestly more important than who it is for. It's going to help identify the core problem, the breakthrough insight, the solution, everything about this offer that we would possibly need, everything that we would need to write an email, to write a landing page, everything. So let's go ahead and go through an actual example because I've already done this for us. I think it's this one. Okay, perfect. Everybody see my Claude screen, okay? Thumbs up. Sweet deal. Okay, so I said I needed to create a messaging document using the prompt below. This is a fake company, pretend it's real though. It's supposed to be a Black Friday offer. And then I just copy and pasted what I saw. I didn't do a fancy prompt, nothing crazy. I'm just putting in my thoughts, okay? Then I pasted the offer into Claude. Again, I am using Claude here because it typically follows the instructions very well. Who wants to see a side-by-side by chat? Maybe that'll be a good idea here. We'll take the exact same thing that I said and we'll compare it with ChatGPT to see what the difference in the responses are. So I'm going to put the exact same prompt. Paste. Done. Alrighty. Okay, let's see what we have here. What we're selling. See, this is how you know ChatGPT isn't the best. It's already going cheaper. No, I'm just kidding. The Claude one is $297. Claude is $197. No, that's fine. Okay, great. So this one is telling us to do a 45-minute in-clinic and virtual assessment, limited to 50 business owners, delivered within 7 days. Okay, 50 in-person analysis, 45 minutes. It's honestly pretty much the same. That's good. So you'll see it's going to break down who this is for, who this is not for, the core problem. So it's not just going to be the surface problem of, I need to optimize my sleep and energy levels. It's going to go deeper. So this is what I call level 3 messaging. If you've been on one of my other masterclasses, I talk about this specifically with content. Also have some YouTube videos about it. Just a quick overview. Level 3 messaging is going from, hey, you might have back pain, to level 3 messaging is going to be, Imagine being able to go and play with your kids at the park again because the back pain is gone and it's not taking over your life. So level 1 versus level 3 messaging. Level 3 is going 3 levels deeper into the emotions and how it's affecting their life and what happens if they actually stay the same. So that's going to be the core difference here. So this messaging document is everything that we need. Oh, this is also my favorite. Enemy positioning. Oh, this is good. Okay. So enemy positioning basically means, let's close this.
Hey, Natalie,
Go
seems
ahead.
like we're not seeing the screen that you're looking at. We're seeing there you go.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. I think we were transitioning here. Okay, perfect. All right, we're back. Thanks for letting me know, guys. So you'll also see here it has enemy positioning. So who are we fighting against? A lot of bigger brands are going to have a common enemy. So at the end of the day, this messaging document is going to give you all of the marketing assets and materials that you need in order to create all of your assets. So now that we have that, we can transition back over into Notion. I've already copied and pasted this over, so you should be able to see the example and see everything it's broken down. This would equate to probably 9 pages. You don't technically have to read the whole thing, but I would recommend spending 80% of your time refining this, tweaking this. If you say, hey, I don't like this specific part of it, have a conversation with Claude and really tweak because this is what's going to fuel everything within your business. Okay. So let's see here. Now that we have that, let's start building out our funnel. Who's ready? Let me share my entire screen now. Okay, can everybody see my screen this time? Yes? Okay, perfect. Thumbs up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this. You can do this in a Google document as well. I'm doing it in Notion, so it's easy for me to share with you. We're going to export this.
Fix the screen.
Yeah, we're seeing a screen that says, "When wisdom entereth into thine heart." There we go.
There you go. That's what's going on. Okay, can you see my screen now? Okay, you should see Claude and Notion next to each other. Okay, perfect. Okay, beautiful. So I'm in Notion. Again, you can use Google Documents if that's easier. Notion makes it easy for me to share. We're going to export this. We're going to export it just as a PDF this time around. And I'm going to label it Biohack PDF. Okay, I would save this into a folder on my document. So that way it's easy for me to access. And so now what I'm going to do is I am going to go into my Claude projects, okay? Claude projects, and we will start with our, we're gonna start with our funnel builder. You're gonna see here, again, I'm not gonna use a fancy prompt. I'm not gonna do anything crazy where we have to prompt engineer. That is a good thing about what we've set up and what we've built here in Claude is we've already set the instructions. We've already done a lot of the heavy work in the beginning, telling this project on exactly what it needs to do for us. So if I just put in this messaging document and I say, create funnel for this offer, a 5-word prompt. Oh wait, I put in the wrong one. Let's do this again. Need to upload the file. Biohack, there you go. Length limit, okay, now it's giving me a hard time. We're just gonna copy and paste all of this. Let's see here. See, this is why it's good to do it live on the call. So if you encounter these problems as well, we'll show you how to fix it. So the PDF might have been too large of a file. You don't always want to depend on PDFs. What you would want to move on to is a markdown. This basically condenses it so it's easy for the computer to understand. So it's basically like a computer language. So let's take this. We're also going to name it Biohack. I'm gonna download this. And we'll upload it into here. And now we wait. Let it think. How's this so far, guys? Is it good to see it in action, to be able to see us actually building this out together? Good, good. Okay, I'll analyze the uploaded document and create a funnel strategy. So it's reading the message. Perfect. What's really cool about Claude as well is that it will design it for you. It'll actually design your funnel for you. A fun update that happened with Go High Level is Go High Level will also now design your funnels for you. So you don't have to hire a designer, don't have to be a designer. Everything is being taken over with AI. Okay, perfect. I think it's coming in. Beautiful. Perfect. So the funnel overview, recommended funnel structure, and you'll see here, it's already created the copy for the landing page. So what does this mean? This is going to be very similar to, what got you onto this. This is an example of the funnel that got you here. So we'll let that load. Perfect. So this would be a headline. This would be a sub-headline. Okay, so this is the headline here, the sub-headline here. Discover exactly what's broken in your body, not someone else's, using the same $15,000 diagnostic testing reserve for pro athletes and Fortune 500 CEOs. And get your 90-day fix-it protocol delivered in 72 hours. Oh, that's pretty cool. Are you tired of flying blind with your health while tracking every metric in your business? That's really good. And it also gives you the VSL, so the video sales letter script, so exactly what to say here. And this was all done with one prompt. And it also gives you the copy or the messaging that would be said on the booking page as well. So it builds out the entire funnel for you. You really don't have to do anything except maybe tweak it. Oh, look at this. It also went a step further. And it also created our email nurture sequence. So that basically means whenever somebody signs up, they're going to get an email confirmation, and this is already built out for you. There it is. So there's email 1. The Black Friday body analysis is reserved. Done. And now you just copy and paste it into Go High Level and you set it up. And you have automation set up for 3 days before. That's awesome. So this just showed us 2 things. It wrote our funnels. It already wrote our email confirmations for us as well. What's the next thing we need to do? Content creation. Let's go into it. Claude is like $20 a month. All right, let's go into content creation. Create funnel or we're going to say create content for this, or we'll say content angles first. We'll upload. There you go. We'll upload this document again. Perfect. And again, 5-word prompt, nothing fancy. You don't need anything, but basically to say, hey, get started, and it's going to execute on everything on your behalf. Reading the example messaging. Perfect. We have a few people using Claude in here. Have you started building out projects yet? That's what I'm curious on. Reading the messaging. It's very thorough, which is awesome. Is this? I'll also put the example landing page and email confirmation into this Notion document shortly after, so you can see the breakdown of the responses. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So what it's starting off with this is it's going to confirm what kind of content you want to create. So it's going to say, hey, here are the different angles that I have. Angle number 1, the 10K guessing game. Some of the hook options it has here are, I spent 47K on supplements and biohacks in 18 months. 93% of it was a complete waste. That's honestly really good. Let's look at some other angles here. The 60% operator. I tracked my decision quality for 90 days. Pre-optimization versus post-optimization results shocked me. Or my brain fog, or your brain fog at 3 p.m. just cost you 47K. Here's a calculation. Oh, these are good. Okay, so I'm just gonna say angle 1, create carousel, Facebook, LinkedIn. No, I reached my Claude limit. So the difference with Claude is it does have like 5-hour limits. So I've been using it for the past 5 hours. But this is really cool. Let me show you an example that we've done in the past. Let's see here. Awesome. So this is an example of one that we've done in the past. It's AI won't replace content creators, but the ones building digital twins will replace the ones. These are Facebook posts where they have comments underneath them, and they work like crazy. These are really, really strong ones. So again, I'll upload the examples into this Notion document shortly after, but it is going to take the angle idea and repurpose it into multiple different formats. So that way you can schedule it for LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere that you want to show up consistently. And it's as easy as maybe 2 prompts. The second prompt would have written it for me. Boom, maybe I make some tweaks. I'm at 3 or 4 prompts, and now you can schedule it, and it's completely done. Don't overthink it, because your messaging document should have done most of the heavy lifting. That's where it's getting most of the core ideas from. Okay. Was this helpful to see, what this looks like actually live, to see the Claude projects put together? Maybe I'll show you this one here. Let's see here. Perfect, perfect. So now you can basically see, and if we go back into here, let's present. Yes, yes, perfect. It's good to hear. And if you don't have Claude, highly, highly recommend getting it. It is a very, very strong platform. And again, we already have let's go into here. All the projects already built, so you no longer have to worry about, how do I build it? What does that look like? How do I, get it to write funnel copy in just in a 5-sentence, 5-word prompt? That's already fully built out. So you'll see we basically sequence this. And if you set a timer, you could realistically get this all knocked out in maybe 3 to 4 hours for the entirety of your offer launch. So for your Black Friday launch, you start with your messaging document. You get clear on what do you want to deliver. We also have a bot that helps you get clear on what that offer is going to be. Then you run that messaging document into the funnel copy, the email sequence, the content calendar. And last of all, you just plug and play it all into the CRM. Still haven't seen the comparison demo. Natalie must be getting it. Honestly, I might be, Dale. That's so funny. So we talked a little bit earlier about the comparison side by side. They were similar whenever it came to messaging. But yeah, my personal preference is going to be Claude for actually executing on the funnel and the content. So we just went through the demo. You saw basically how the messaging document acts as a clone. It knows everything about you. We have our 4 components, how it all connects, and we basically plug it into your Go High level so it can get sent automatically. So this would have taken us probably 3 copywriters, people to actually write our content, multiple social media managers to create and design everything, probably a funnel designer and a funnel copywriter to design it. That's at least $10,000 in expenses that you've basically replaced using AI, and maybe 3 to 4 hours of your time for one offer launch that you're putting this together. And so the reason it works is because we already have these projects built out. We already have these tools that have all of the research, have all the context for you to be able to go, and it keeps it as simple as possible. Again, it's 2, maybe 3 tools, Go High Level, Claude, and ChatGPT. And it's very simple because now it's trained on you and it's structured for those conversions. And it's built to scale without burning you out, without taking you away for 2 to 3 hours at a time every single day away from your business. So we've now basically seen the structure of what it takes to install that trust on autopilot, starting from that funnel and ending with the emails and the content creation. And if you're selling a higher ticket service, anything that's above 3,000, I would say honestly $5,000, it's all about rooting that belief and showing up every single day for your audience, because you can't close somebody who doesn't actually trust you, that doesn't see you consistently, that doesn't understand fully what you do. So that's what the goal of this entire system that we just looked at. Again, you'll be able to look in Notion later on to see what some of those responses, and you'll see how deep and how level 3 messaging is integrated into this. And so the reason this is also really cool is because if you even just unintentionally play around with this can change your entire marketing process, just as simple as you copying and pasting some of the answers into there and getting this plugged in for you. So here's what happens if nothing changes after seeing this, right? You keep posting, you keep following up, you keep being the only one responsible for this. In reality, the fear isn't in trying something new. The fear is in it not working. The fear is just waking up of, oh man, now I have to consistently do this thing, or maybe I have to hire a sales rep to do this thing for me, but it's still either costing me money or it's costing me time. I haven't taken those couple of hours to use these tools and get this all set up for me. And then what happens? You keep scrolling on social media, you keep attending a bunch of webinars and trainings looking for the perfect solution, or you can actually just take one that's right in front of you with what we just mapped out for you today. What's the realistic other option? You can keep piecing these things together, trying to figure out the psychology behind content, trying to figure out what makes funnels work, or just hoping AI is magically going to get better at sounding like you and getting this to work. Or you can just use and install the system to get it going. Follow that 4-step process, starting with the messaging document, plugging this into the funnels, getting your emails and your content mapped out so you no longer have to worry about this. And again, it doesn't take a lot of time to do it. The core and the biggest element of this is going to be mapping out your offer and getting that messaging strategy locked in. And so I'll show you some of the results we've gotten recently for some of our clients, because I'll tell you this, these people have really, really awesome businesses. They have really, really awesome offers, but they're not any different than you. They're not special. They don't have, some magical brain power or the limitless pill from that movie. They just simply didn't think too much about it and they implemented it. They knew that they needed an infrastructure that they didn't have before in order for them to go from being busy trying to figure it out to constantly being booked and getting people to book calls while they're out doing and spending time with their family. So you'll see we have this client here. Again, they didn't have a lot of followers. They had less than 4,000 followers, not a celebrity, not a professional content creator, just somebody running the same business as you and I. And in under 14 days, we installed this system. We basically pulled, $2,000, popped out of thin air. And so you'll see here, we launched a $1,992 product. Or wait, no, the product was $249. And we, in just 2 days, generated $2,000 in the first couple of days of launching this system. So what we did here is we mapped out her offer. we plugged in the system, AKA the funnels and the emails. We sent out some newsletters. We barely posted maybe 1 to 2 pieces of content. Within those 48 hours, she was able to get 8 sales, 62 brand new leads, people who, you know, maybe weren't ready to get started, but they raised their hand. So, you know, we called them and followed up with them as well. Another example would be is whenever we launched a new offer for a client with less than 10,000 followers. This one was a real estate consulting client, not a huge audience. He did launch a high ticket offer. I believe it was around like $7,000, and he generated $41,000 in just 45 days of working together. No offer before that. He did have a pretty extensive real estate investing company, and so he wanted to launch a consulting offer to share some of the knowledge that he gained. Again, he is not a marketing wizard. He is really good at doing what he does and showing other people how to do it. And so we just created this container, this system, to be able to get people into the door and guide them to that next step. So whenever we think about these systems, these 4 steps, this is one decision that replaces 10 of the other things that you're doing manually, you're doing slowly and efficiently, spending 2 hours on one piece of content, or spending 5 hours trying to figure out how to build a funnel, or even just figuring out what is my next newsletter going to be. It is 38 days away from Black Friday. If we want to take advantage of this, we have to move quickly, and we have to make the decision on what our offer is going to be and who we're going to communicate this to. Not to mention, we have Halloween, which is 10 days away. And we also have New Year's and Christmas, and New Year's is 71 days away. 71 days until 2026. 71 days in which people are going to make the decision to either A, invest in themselves, invest in their health, invest in their business, invest in their mindset. Everybody right now is trying to get better. It's that energy in the air. And so we want to have you set up and get your systems running before Black Friday, which is only 38 days away, right? So with those days, we want to make sure to set up your offer, get these systems running, and make sure that the only thing that you need to do is A, maybe record some content of you talking and post it on social media. And the last thing that you're going to need to do is show up for your clients and actually deliver what they need. We'll actually take care of all of the heavy lifting and all of the AI build out for you. All of these little nuances and all of these steps that we talked about, from building out the funnel, building out the emails, building out your content calendar, we'll take care of that for you in the next 14 days. That's all it's going to take for us to be able to build the entire thing for you. We'll start off with a strategy session where we'll hand you a plan and we'll actually execute it on your behalf. So your entire funnel is going to be live. Your emails are going to be running. You'll have 2 months worth of newsletters scheduled and ready to go, ready to promote your offers. And we'll make sure this is personally customized for you. So here are some of the things that are included whenever you do this. Again, 14 days or less. Our goal is going to be to build it in 10 days from as soon as we get started. And it's only going to be for $29.97. $29.97 to get your entire system built out in 10 days. Let me show you some of the things we're going to do for you. So number one is we're going to build out your entire sales funnel in Go High Level. We'll set up your Go High Level to where, just like you saw mine, you'll be able to see all of your new opportunities that are coming into the door. So we're going to build out your landing page. We're going to build out a booking page if you take sales calls, or we'll build out a landing page to the direct checkout link for your clients. So this is going to be the exact path in which you'll take a stranger, cold or warm traffic into your sales ecosystem. Next one is your offer positioning and messaging. So we're going to do a call with you to really get clear on what your Black Friday offer is. And also, if you want to talk about your New Year's offer, we'll tighten your message, we'll simplify your pitch, and we'll help you get clarity on exactly how you're going to present this to your audience. So that way you know how to communicate this and you don't feel lost figuring out, how do I communicate something that they know that they need, but they may not know that they want. Another thing we'll build for you is going to be your automated follow-up and email SMS sequences. So we'll set up your SMS so that way you're fully compliant. You'll be able to send out SMS. You probably saw one of mine that went out as well. We'll build out all of your email automation sequences so that way people get follow-ups, reminders, they get to know exactly who you are. And not only that is we'll plug in your content system for you. So we'll give you 30 days of scripts and prompts. So that way you don't have to think about your content strategy. Your content strategy will be built around the offer that we plan together for you. Last of all is we'll plug in any DM and chat automations. So that way, whenever somebody comments a keyword such as spooky on your Instagram or Facebook post, they're going to get an automation with the link to sign up or to register to book a call with you. And we'll also make sure all of these systems are connected. So that way you have a dashboard, you can see the numbers, you can see your growth month over month. You'll be able to see how many leads you got, where the leads came from, what people are most interested in. So you also know where to double down on. And of course, we'll also do 14 days of post-launch support. So once we hand over the system and everything is built out for you, we're not just going to walk away and say, hey, good luck. We're also going to, over the next 14 days after it's built, we'll monitor, we'll tweak it, we'll optimize it. This will all be done in a private community with the people who sign up on the offer. So that way you have that support. You don't feel like you're just being lost, left in the dust. It's all completely done for you. Okay, so feel free to go to leads and revenue. Let me type this in. Leads and revenue.com/build. There you go. And so the reason that we're doing this is because, again, if you've been on some of our last master classes, we've given away bots, we've given away prompts, we've given away templates, we've given away everything that you need to be successful, but we still saw people falling short on getting started and actually getting the results they were looking for. Because either something got in the way, they felt intimidated by the technology, they feel like maybe they got distracted as soon as they got started and they never went back to the bots. And so we'll take care of the initial heavy lifting for you. So that way you don't have to worry about that anymore. You can just focus on getting it plugged in, having it built out, streamlining that process, and communicating with us to make sure it's working. And if it's not, then we will come in and we will personally help you tweak it and fix it as long as you are looking to grow and continue to move forward as well. So we are here at the end. I am going to take any questions that we have. We went through a lot today. We are 67, 80 minutes in here. Let's see here. Dale, I should be getting a kickback from Claude. That's a good idea. They would make a lot of money off of me. Gladfully, I would definitely do that. That's awesome. Let's see here. Does Go High Level do DMs? Yes, Go High Level does DMs. It integrates specifically with your Instagram and your Facebook Messenger. So if somebody comments a keyword, it'll start that conversation with them. It'll DM them, and it can also comment on their post that they posted on. So yeah, it basically replaces ManyChat. So not only is Go High Level replacing some of the subscriptions that you're having, it's just going to make everything easier since it's all in one place. So if somebody comments a keyword or replies a keyword and they never sign up, you or your sales team, we can set up some automations to automatically follow up with them with a question or a message, so that way nobody actually slips through the cracks. What other questions do we have? The 14 days of support is after the 10-day build, or do they run? That's going to be after the initial 10-day build. Yep. So for the first 10 days, we'll be working together. We'll get on an onboarding call so we can get on the same page of what your current offer is, your core offer, and we'll figure out what your supporting offer is going to be for Black Friday. And then once it's all built, we deliver the system to you. We'll give you the 14 days of support so you actually know how the system works, what it looks like, if you want to tweak some things. we'll be there to support you to make sure it's fully built out and you don't have to worry about a thing from there. If something breaks, you'll still have access to the community where we do office hours every Tuesdays and Thursdays. So rather than one-on-one support, you'll be able to join onto the community and ask any questions as necessary. So if you have any questions on the content strategy or, the email sequences, email newsletters, we'll be there to support you and show you how to use your Claude projects. So you'll also be able to get some of the Claude projects that we've built out so you can learn how to use them and use them for yourself for any future offers that you build out. Yeah, definitely handsome. Such an interesting name. Maybe I'll name my son Handsome. It's like a compliment every time somebody says your name. So yes, I think this is a complete steal. I'm so excited. We've built, I believe over the past week, 4 or 5 of these for our clients, just launching some Black Friday offers. And it's so interesting because whenever you do email marketing the right way, it actually can be more effective than actually posting content on social media because the people on your email list are ready to go. They're ready to buy. They're looking at your stuff, especially the people who are consistently opening your emails. And so that's where we always start. We always start with creating a really solid email nurturing or email newsletter strategy. So that way we can get people into the door. And those are going to be the lowest hanging fruit. So if you already have an email list and you have people who have opted in, you're going to be in a really great position with launching a Black Friday offer because you're basically just, sweeping the house and, just generating the revenue from the low hanging fruit. Who here has an email list? Hopefully everybody. Yeah, Brandon, Shemaya, Dale has one. Good. Yes, the email list is going to be the most powerful part of all of this. And you might have noticed throughout that is basically the center of everything that we're doing is building your email list, nurturing the email list. That is the whole point of content. That's why I've never really been big on the vanity of, followers and just how many followers and likes do you get? Because if you have a very strong email list that is engaged, that's going to do more for you than 100,000 followers. So I will say this offer is going to be best if you already have a core offer in place for your business and you've already validated it by generating at least a minimum of $10,000 a month with your core offer. If you have a core offer, the goal is going to be to build out a supporting offer to get people to your core offer. So think of it as a stepping stone. If you're just getting started, I would recommend watching some of the YouTube videos that we have to help you map out what your offer is and validate it with people that are in your circle or some of your current followers. But if you already do have a current offer, but maybe you're not getting clients consistently, you're in the content rat race, you're not sure, how to take advantage of your email list, or you feel like you just don't have time to learn marketing stuff, this is going to be perfect for you because you're basically hiring an in-person team to build everything on your behalf. Learn how to use it, and we'll show you exactly how to do that, and you'll have all that support. So that way you don't really have to worry about a thing. So if you go to this link, it is going to have a application process. This application process allows us to